7 Spiritual Struggles. Why enlightened souls face these tough truths head-on. Have you ever found yourself in a place of desperate longing for connection with something greater than yourself? Maybe it was a spark of hope that you first felt during a transcendent meditation session, or perhaps it was a fleeting sense of oneness with the universe that left you yearning for more. Whatever the catalyst, one thing is certain: you were called to embark on a spiritual journey. But what happens when the excitement and anticipation wear off, and you're left facing the harsh realities of your spiritual practice? When meditation feels more like _battlefield_ than a haven of peace, and seeking guidance only leads to more questions. When the expectations you had for yourself and your growth seem like unattainable ideals, and the struggles feel like a constant moral torment. You're not alone in this experience. The truth is, many individuals on a spiritual path face these same challenges, often feeling like they're being pulled in opposite directions. It's a paradox that can be difficult to understand, let alone navigate. The more you seek to break free from the illusions of the world, the more you're confronted with the darker aspects of yourself and your own limitations. In this sense, the overwhelming sense of being lost in the spiritual wilderness can be a sign that you're genuinely conflict with your own norms of spiritual growth. It's an invitation to examine your motivations, your intentions, and your relationship with the very idea of spiritual growth itself. When the journey becomes more than just a series of New Age cliches or feel-good affirmations, it becomes a raw and unflinching look at the depths of your own soul. You think you've got it all figured out. Your morning meditations are consistent. Your bookshelf is filled with the latest bestsellers on personal growth, and you've got a spiritual superhero cape to match. But then comes the day when it's all taken away from you. I should know. 3 years ago, I was at the peak of my own spiritual climb. My daily routine was strict. My spiritual readings were up to date, and I considered myself a true spiritual warrior. But then, everything came crashing down. In that moment, I felt like I was staring into the abyss. The more I meditated and read, the more I began to see the cracks in my foundation. The questions I'd been taught to ignore started surfacing. What is the true nature of reality? Is my God concept accurate? Am I truly following the path, or am I just blindly following a crowd? With each doubt, my worldview began to crumble. I went from being the epitome of spiritual accomplishment to feeling utterly broken. But here's the thing, that's when the real magic happened. Those dark days taught me more about myself and the world than all my previous years of spiritual devotion. The pain of disillusionment can be one of the most painful experiences you'll ever face. It's like having your safe haven, your sense of identity, ripped away. Who are you now? What purpose do you serve? These questions seem so basic, yet they're the ones that haunt your every waking moment. But here's the twist. It's in these darkest moments that you're given an incredible gift. The opportunity to reimagine yourself, to reboot your entire framework, and to rewrite your story from the ground up. Your spiritual break-in serves as a wake-up call, shaking you out of complacency and guiding you toward deeper self-discovery and authenticity. I want to be clear, this isn't just a story about personal growth. It's a testament to the fact that you are in the midst of a transcendental process, one that's set to unfold the most magnificent version of yourself. And with these 4 spiritual tests, I'll help you navigate the journey so you emerge stronger, wiser, and more connected to your true purpose than ever before. These aren't just obstacles. They're initiation stations that signal you're ready to break free from the shackles of conventional wisdom and embark on a path that truly belongs to you. Test number 1. The existential crisis, when everything you believed starts crumbling. The first test hits like a tidal wave, shattering the complacent foundation you've built your life upon. It's the moment when reality slaps you in the face, forcing you to confront the hard truth. Everything you thought you knew, everyone, is an illusion. You might feel like you're drowning in a sea of chaos, with no lifeline in sight. As the world around you seems to unravel, your sense of self begins to crumble. You question everything you've ever believed in, the spiritual principles that guided you, the values you cherished, and even your understanding of time and space. The cacophony of contradictory ideas echoes in your mind, leaving you disoriented and searching for answers. This is the dark night of the soul, a state where you're trapped between 2 worlds, unable to shake off the remnants of the old you, while struggling to grasp the uncertainty of the new. It's a feeling akin to being lost in a labyrinth, with no clear exit in sight. Suddenly, the conviction that once held you firm now seems laughable. Doubts creep in like thieves under the cover of darkness, stealing your peace of mind and leaving you with a gnawing sense of inadequacy. The more you seek answers, the more questions arise, leaving you awash in uncertainty. For me, this existential crisis manifested when I encountered sociology, my first course in philosophy. I'd been indoctrinated with traditional Christianity since birth, always assuming that absolute truth resided in divine revelation. But the strict objectivity of sociological analysis confronted me with a harsh reality: that personal truths are constructed relative to the individual and society. My entire worldview began to fray at the edges as I grappled with the thought that what I thought was objectively correct was actually nothing more than my own historical and psychological legacy. The pain of this awareness, that my convictions had blinded me, lingered long after the conclusion of the course. Rather than closing your eyes to this unease, it's crucial to confront the unknown and permit the truth to transform you. This dissolution of certainty may seem disorienting, but it gives room for deeper understanding, unshackling you from dogmatic illusions. In the midst of this turbulent darkness, it's essential to recollect that the crisis is not an illness that needs curing, but an opportunity for metamorphosis. This uneasy threshold between the old and new, the unknown and the known, is the greatest invitation for growth and transcendence that you will ever receive. Rip apart the conceptual veil, surrender your assumptions, and let the weightlessness of uncertainty envelop you. You're poised on the precipice of discovering that the space you thought was waiting for answers is actually the fertile soil in which your spirit will birth its next iteration. Test number 2, the shadow self, confronting your darkest truths. Imagine being on a spiritual journey where you've spent years meditating, praying, and seeking guidance. You're convinced that you're closer to enlightenment, and the darkness of the world no longer holds you back. But one day, you catch yourself glaring at a friend for not returning your calls, or you feel an inexplicable rage when someone steals the spotlight. You're shocked. Isn't this just a normal reaction? Isn't this what everyone does? The answer is yes, but the question is why? Why are you reacting in this way? Why is your mind consumed with thoughts of resentment and bitterness? These aren't the emotions you've been trying to shake off. These are the emotions you've been trying to suppress, but your shadow self has other plans. Your shadow self is the side of you that you've never acknowledged, the parts of your personality that you've hidden away to fit in or to avoid rejection. It's the face you show the world, but the one you hide from yourself. It's the silent keeper of your deepest secrets and darkest fears. And now, it's rising to the surface, demanding attention, and shaking you to the core. As you explore your shadow self, you'll start to confront the darkest truths about yourself. You'll encounter patterns of behavior that you've never looked at before, like the way you sabotage relationships or use criticism as a defense mechanism. You'll begin to see how these patterns affect your relationships, your work, and your overall sense of purpose. But why does this shadow self want to surface in the first place? It's not here to hurt you, as some might think. It's here to heal. Every trigger is an opportunity for growth. Every reaction a roadmap to what needs healing. It's as if the universe is giving you a message, a wake-up call that says, hey, there's more work to be done. Facing your shadow self takes courage and dedication. It requires you to be honest with yourself, to confront the parts of your personality that you've hidden away. It's a journey into the depths of your own psyche, where you'll encounter parts of yourself that you never knew existed. And though it's challenging, the rewards are immeasurable. For when you confront your shadow self, you'll also confront the possibility of inner peace. The question is, are you ready? Are you ready to look at the aspects of yourself that you've hidden away? And are you ready to face the darkness within? If the answer is yes, then take a deep breath and let your shadow self guide you on this transformative journey. It won't be easy, but the journey will be worth it. For on the other side lies the promise of inner peace and enlightenment. Test number 3, the isolation phase, when others don't understand. You've been feeling the weight of spiritual loneliness for a while now. It's like a thick fog that's settled over your daily life, making even the most mundane conversations feel hollow. You try to connect with your friends and family, but it's like they're speaking a different language. Suddenly, those casual conversations about Netflix shows and office politics feel empty, leaving you wondering if anyone else has experiences like yours. Your friends might start calling you too deep or too intense. Their words a reminder that you're navigating uncharted territory. They might try to dismiss your concerns or minimize your experiences, leaving you feeling misunderstood and isolated. Family members might worry that you're going down a strange path, their fears and doubts further distancing you from the people you thought you could rely on. But despite the discomfort and uncertainty, this spiritual loneliness serves a purpose. It's teaching you to trust your inner guidance and find your authentic voice. You're being forced to look within, to listen to your intuition and connect with your soul. It's a journey that's not always easy, but it's one that will ultimately lead to profound growth and transformation. As you navigate this isolation, you begin to realize that you're not alone. There are others out there who are going through similar experiences, people who understand the depths of your emotional struggles and the heights of your spiritual aspirations. You're not too deep or too intense. You're just awakening to a new reality, one that's more complex and beautiful than you ever imagined. This spiritual loneliness is also preparing you to connect with your true soul family, the people who will accept and support you without judgment. They'll understand the journey you're on and the struggles you're facing, and they'll be there to offer guidance and encouragement when you need it most. In the midst of this isolation, you might feel like you're losing your sense of identity or purpose, but trust that you're not. You're just being called to explore new depths, to push beyond the boundaries of what's familiar and comfortable. This spiritual loneliness is an opportunity for growth, a chance to discover your true essence and live more authentically in the world. So, don't be afraid to ask the hard questions, to confront the fears and doubts that are holding you back. Don't be afraid to take the road less traveled, to follow the path that's calling to your soul. You might feel alone, but you're not isolated. You're just being called to a deeper level of understanding and connection with the world around you. Test number 4, the ego death, letting go of who you thought you were. This test of spiritual awakening is perhaps the most daunting of all. Ego death is a term coined by psychologist Carl Jung, referring to the process of transcending one's sense of self and embracing a more expansive, unified identity. For many, it feels like losing oneself as the carefully constructed ego, that illusion of control, status, and identity, begins to crumble, revealing the fragments of our unresolved emotions, hidden desires, and unreconciled fears. Imagine standing at the edge of a great canyon, staring out at the vast expanse of the unknown. Your ego was like a fragile, intricately crafted bridge stretching across the chasm, giving you the illusion of control and agency. As the tests of spiritual awakening deepen, however, the winds of shadow work and existential crisis begin to buffet this bridge, weakening its structure and threatening to send it crashing to the ground. For Sarah, a former investment banker, the ego death experience was a brutal, forced wake-up call. A series of setbacks and failures in her career led to a crushing feeling of inadequacy and a deep-seated doubt in her abilities. As she grappled with these emotions, Sarah began to explore the teachings of spiritual leaders like Marshall Rosenberg and Pema Chodron. She started attending meditation retreats and practicing radical acceptance, slowly allowing herself to let go of the need to control every aspect of her life. This process of ego death is often misunderstood as the destruction of the ego itself. But, as philosopher Jiddu Krishnamurti so eloquently put it, the ego is not the problem, but an attempt to find security in a confusing, ever-changing world. In essence, ego death is not about annihilating the ego, but rather transforming it from a master, ruling supreme over our thoughts and emotions, to a servant responsive to the deeper wisdom of our true nature. To tap into this transformative potential, you must be willing to surrender the need to control every aspect of your life. Practice embodying surrender by visualizing yourself letting go of the burdens of attachment and identification. Imagine yourself standing at the edge of the canyon, not as a precarious bridge, but as a wide-open, inviting expanse, a vast, unpredictable landscape waiting to be explored. As the ego dissolves, a profound sense of unshakable inner knowing begins to emerge. This inner wisdom is not something that can be taught or learned, but rather known at a profound, cellular level. Imagine approaching the surface of a still pond on a windless day. As the ripples of our doubts and fears settle, our inner knowing begins to reveal itself in shimmering, moonlit clarity. Remember, ego death doesn't mean destruction. It means transformation. By embracing this process, you can uncover your true nature, a nature bathed in an unshakable sense of inner knowing, authentic self-acceptance, and true self-love. Embracing the journey, your next steps. You stand at the threshold of a great transformation, with the dust of spiritual tests settling around you. The enemy you once called uncertainty now wears a different face, one of wisdom and gathering insight. You've learned to navigate the labyrinths of your soul, confronting the shadows that once held you captive. The landscape of your consciousness has shifted, and in its place, a profound inner peace is unfolding. The journey itself is a canvas of mirrors, reflecting the facets of your true self. Each challenge has been an invitation to inquire, to dive deeper into the mysteries of your existence. The twists and turns of the spiritual path have taught you to trust your inner compass, that inner voice that navigates the ebb and flow of life's experiences. And with each step, the veil of illusion has lifted, revealing the resplendent beauty of your authentic nature. You now carry within you the wisdom of ancient civilizations, the whispers of philosophers, and the heartbeat of the universe itself. Your experiences have become a treasured journal, filled with the stories of your triumphs and setbacks. But more importantly, you've come to realize that these stories are not just mere anecdotes, but an integral part of the ongoing dialogue between your conscious and subconscious self. You've grown accustomed to the doubts that once plagued your mind. You've come to understand that they are no longer obstacles, but opportunities for growth. The fear that once held you hostage has transformed into clarity and certainty. You now stand at the threshold of a new era, one where the choices you make are guided by wisdom, rather than uncertainty. As you embark on this new chapter in your journey, remember that you're not alone. You're part of a vast web of souls, all connected by the intricate threads of interdependence and compassion. The spiritual challenge meditation guide you downloaded has been your trusted companion, illuminating the path forward. Now, you're ready to embark on a new adventure, where the labyrinth of challenges is transformed into a beautiful garden of transformation. What's next? The moment you've been waiting for. Your true north beckons, and the world awaits. It's time to surrender to the unknown, to trust in your authenticity, and to celebrate the mystery that you are. Remember, your journey is not a destination. It's a beautiful tapestry of moments, woven from the threads of your experiences, your choices, and your discoveries. Welcome to the future that unfolds, dear traveler, a world of possibilities waiting to be explored.